Hi, I'm Alan Ross with EPRA, and this is another EPRA Take 5. Our guest today is Brian Crandell. Brian is the Electric Power Systems Engineer for Owens Corning. Welcome. Thank you for joining us today, Brian.
You're welcome.
So we've seen a lot of our corporate guys like you, the people responsible for electric power at multiple facilities. There are a lot of issues that you've got to overcome. One of them, you got retiring expertise that can be at any plant at any time, and that's happening as a result of COVID even more quickly than before. You got the challenges of ROI, where you got a plant manager where the buck stops here, and he's trying to make sure that he hits the KPIs of the organizations. So you're kind of reactive in getting to spend money. And then lastly, you got facilities from an aging standpoint that are just all across the board, I assume, with assets that are all across the board, new assets, new technology, old technology. But talk a little bit about how you've overcome any or some or all of these, Brian.
First, I'll go into the old versus new assets. So one of the problems is okay, I don't know if they're problems or not. One of the items that I discuss regularly with the plants is we have a group of oil-filled transformers that are from around 70 to 74.
Right.
And they were built much more robust back in the 70s comparatively to now, where everything is computerized with their technology. So when we have a transformer, say 6544 kVA transformer, we can run that transformer much hotter and much heavier than we can if we buy a 6544 transformer directly from say a Siemens or an ABB right now. And
Right.
so in our auto regulating transformers take a considerable amount of work, and we've had failures within 5 years of a new transformer. We had it rebuilt twice. So the issue is not only that we need to worry about replacing assets, but then we're not able to provide the same quality of asset as we were back in the 70s, 60s, 50s.
We can talk a lot about that because it isn't because they're not built to rating. It's just because old guys like me used to use slide rules, and we overbuilt everything. So back in the 70s, and in fact, the best transformers ever built were built by Westinghouse in 1976. I just made that up, but they did make great transformers. Sorry, go ahead.
Yeah.
What else are you dealing with?
So the other issue is trying to get funding, because one of the main concerns of the company is you have to have return on investment, you have to have ROI. And when you're replacing like for like, you can go into, well, if we would lose this line, we would lose X amount of dollars an hour. But we're not going to say when we put this new transformer in, we're going to be able to produce X more product. So that's another concern that I have trying to get funding for future transformers.
And then you have people leaving by droves.
Yes. So when I came into the company 6 years ago, we had two gentlemen who were both knocking on the door of retirement, and they had been with the company and with Power Systems for 40 years each. So we have lost both of them. They're great resources, but they're both retired now, and so it's just me on it now. So it's hard because you lose so much legacy knowledge when you lose somebody of that with that type of time with a company.
And it's not like you can tape it, you can't go in and tape something because it's legacy knowledge when something pops up and they go, oh yeah, that transformer in that plant has these that's the kind of knowledge that we lose.
Right. For example, we had to go into a transformer and change there was an issue with a no load tap changer.
Yeah.
And when we went in there, it was because we had lost a lead, and that was the easy fix, right? But the concern with us is for whatever reason, they chose to go with just 2 CTs on A and C, and of course we lost the leg on B, and then we didn't have a CT until the secondary side of downstream of another transformer right in front of the furnace. So it took us days to figure out what the issue was, and it just makes it difficult.
Yeah. Any other challenges that you're overcoming that we haven't covered?
Well, one of the things that SD Myers has done for us is, so for example, on the dashboard and the way that the reports are written, it really helps point to the issues. If you're not terribly familiar with looking at a DGA, it helps you point to exactly what the issue is, and then the trending tools on it. You can pull data from, 10 years if you would like. You can look at it over 10 years and you can see, okay, our gases are going up. Okay, they went back down. So you can see when the issues were, and then you can point directly to that time frame and you can see if something was happening in the plant or if it's something to do with the transformer.
Yeah. By the way, SD Myers, for those people who don't know, is one of our EPRA resource partners and a sister company. And we did a forums, by the way, Brian, on that very topic. And Juan Rodriguez from Gerdau Steel presented a case where that dashboard information saved him or saved the company millions of dollars from taking a shutdown because they could look at trending data, and trending data is critical, and we recommend it. That's another thing that your generation is having to deal with, is if you don't get trending data and it's in a file cabinet somewhere, guess what? You're not going to be able to trend it. You're not going to be able to extrapolate or look back and say, here's what's happened in the past. But a lot of different issues that you're dealing with. So one of the things that we're recruiting you for is we bring from time to time our practitioners into something we call forums. And I'm asking you online right now to be a member of one of our forums when we do talk about the issue of how do we get our companies as a whole, how do we bring the entire company around changing the culture to an electrical system reliability culture from an electrical system reactive culture. And that's something we'll talk about in the future. But thank you for joining us for this Take 5. People will want to know how you do what you do. So as one of our practitioners, iron sharpens iron. So you'll get some questions, I'm sure. Thank you for being with us today, Brian.
Thank you very much.